Hello, beautiful people, soul family. What is up? Welcome to your weekly reading with Charmed by Jess or Charmed Readings by Jess, depending on where you found me on this beautiful planet of ours. If you are new, welcome in. If you are returning, welcome back. I love sharing my energy with you. You are the most important part of this charm reading. Because this is a general charm reading, remember to take what resonates, leave what doesn't for someone else. If any of these charms show up as a specific meaning to you, take that as it resonates. If it means like a specific loved one is coming through to you, or it has a specific meaning, please take that as a confirmation for you personally. I've already done a meditation. We've called upon spirit, guides, creator, ancestors, angels, archangels to guide this act of divination for our weekly reading for the week of April 29th through the May 5th. So we are in the midst of celebrating Beltane and May Day and all of that fun, excited celebration of the earth and our interconnectedness and the balance of that masculine and feminine creation and destruction and all of that amazingness. So I'm curious to see if any of that comes out in our weekly reading this week. So without further ado, thank you again for joining us this week. And creator, angels, archangels, guides, spirits of light, please guide this act of divination for the greatest good for the collective for this week. Let's see what we have in store for us this week, my beautiful people. All right, so I'm just going to kind of take a moment and sort of take in everything. I'm going to move some charms around because they kind of all placed right in the middle. I'm going to leave some. Definitely there's one charm that is sticking out as our centerpiece for this reading. Otherwise, some things definitely have spread out just so we can see this a little bit more clearly. It's interesting. Typically we have one that lands in yes, like either a yes or no. So like if there is something that you've been questioning, you'll get a clear yes or no. There's some that landed in yes and some that landed in no. So we don't really have a clear answer. This could be something that goes either way. If you have something specific that's weighing on your mind, however, the message here is really could go either way. Helpful, not helpful, right? And sometimes that's just how things are. Helpful, not helpful. I'm going to scoot her out of the way so we can see a little bit better. Thank you all for being patient with me while I go ahead and do this, just so we can see. These are scooting right over here. And I do feel like that was kind of more on the edge there. Okay, fantastic. And that beauty is staying right in the center there. So we're going to start with our centerpiece, and that's a beautiful flower. And actually that speaks really well to what I was just saying about this being a beautiful celebration of May Day, Beltane, however you're celebrating. But it's that the celebration of fertility, of the interconnectedness between us and our beautiful planet, the balance between the masculine and feminine, creation and destruction. A lot of those celebrations revolve around fertility. So things, birth of animals are starting to happen as we enter into this late spring, early summer. It really is that midpoint between the spring equinox and the summer solstice. So, things are really starting to, you see more flowers blooming, vegetables are starting to come, like all of those things. So that's kind of the overarching energy of our week too, and really that focus of where we're headed, and really being called to focus our energy there, and pay attention to those balances that are going on within our lives and how those energies are at play, and maybe even taking a step back and realizing how interconnected we all are, and celebrating the things that are bountiful within our lives, and those things that are coming in for us. So that's kind of like the overarching energy that influences all of these areas, which I think is a pretty beautiful energy to have. So we're going to start down here in our current energy and your inner self. It's interesting. I'm kind of having almost like it's tough to catch my breath. So I don't know if that's kind of like an overarching energy too. Like there's kind of like an anxious energy a little bit for the week maybe. Your current energy, you have the stallion here, and he's in reverse. This is the energy that you're projecting out. Maybe some of you are feeling like freedoms that you typically have, you're struggling to find a way to express yourself and have that strength and freedom that you long for. You're kind of feeling tied down and stuck. And that sort of goes along with your inner self too. Like there's something that you feel like is holding you back. And maybe we'll get to that in issues at hand and things to avoid, contributing factors, all of that. But it's interesting that they kind of both, inner self and current energy. Normally you have two sort of things, something different in both. Your inner self, though, you do have the scissors, which is a message of like cutting things out, removing what isn't working. You think about scissors and like your hair. You're cutting off the dead parts of your hair so that you have the ability for fresh growth. You're cutting. I just got this image of someone going through the garden and like cutting like the dead heads off the flowers so that new growth can happen. That kind of thing. And it's interesting. I'll kind of just move the scissors off just so we can see what's underneath a little bit better. But underneath the scissors is an airplane, which is about like travel, freedom. So like you have, so because it's in your inner self, this is all like things that are going on internally. It's not an external thing that you're doing. So these could be like limiting beliefs, things like that are really like kind of holding you back from having this freedom of travel and exploration and really diving deep into like the inner workings of yourself. And holding on to those things is really like, it really is holding you back and stopping you from really reaching the next phase for you. What I just heard is like, this is self-imposed. Like, this isn't necessarily a reality, right? Because this is what you're feeling about your inner self. You feel like there are things that like you need to cut out that's holding you back here. And y'all have been doing so much work recently that maybe that's where that anxious feeling I was getting from too is like, oh my gosh, there's still so much to do. There's still so much to do. And that's also leading with the contributing factors, right? Like you feel like you can't move forward until you do all of that. Like, yes, continuing to weed out and take out things and habits and thoughts and like all of those things that are holding you back from taking flight, literally, obviously would be helpful, but that doesn't mean you can't continue to take steps forward. I'm going to scoot down here to others involved. Nope, I've been told to talk about the issues at hand first. And it's interesting that the issues at hand are these two really typically are very positive charms that come across. So it's interesting to me that they're in this issues at hand. You know, the dolphin is this very intellectual, playful energy, and maybe. So what I just heard is like you play too much. Like you've gotten so not that you need to be like all serious and like no, I need to just work. I need to just work. But there's something about you're playing without intent. Like there's no intention behind it. You know, with the dolphin being that very intellectual creature too. Like they play for fun. But the message I heard was like you're not playing with purpose. Like stop just doing things just cause. Like I don't. It's gonna make sense for somebody. And then the panda is about balance. So it's about harmony. It's about that balance between light and dark, the masculine, the feminine. Kind of like what I was just talking about with the celebration of May Day and belting, like the destruction and creation. It's not straight on. So there definitely is some things that you need to work on in balancing your life. So that's going to be a huge focus for this week. You know, doing some things with a little more intent and then creating some balance, whether this is between your work and your home life, you know, within your relationships, however that resonates with you. That's going to be different for everybody. So others involved, you kind of have two charms that fall within the others involved as well as the things to avoid. So there's someone that you're putting a lot of work and effort into, and this, you know, romantic, this could be a career partner, this could be a friendship, you know, like that. But there's definitely a relationship that you're putting a lot of energy into, like you're doing most of the work to keep it going. With the bicycle, and I'm getting these are two separate people here. And then you also have somebody who is really like your foundation, like somebody who you can, like when things feel crazy, you could just like, you can hang on there with the coral, you know, like they're your rock that you can attach to them, and they can hold you steady through that storm, through all of those crazy currents. You can hold on and be fed. So those are two people who really have an influence over what's going on in your life right now. Things to avoid: doing too much of the work yourself, right? Like you can overdo and take over the relationship, you know, again, whatever kind of relationship that is, and not let it play out how it naturally should. And then also like getting so stuck in the foundation of something that like you don't go with the flow. You don't, like, you're just so stuck in one place. Spending too much time reflecting on the past, and reflecting on like what's right in front of you instead of like creating that vision for your future. You know, if you're looking in the mirror all the time, like you are only seeing what's right in front of you rather than the possibilities of the things that are coming in. The actions to take: become a leader for what you want to be. Like be you know, just be, stand strong and be who you want to be that leader. Step up and take the actions you need to take to make and create the life that you want to create. Nobody else is going to do it for you. And let some magic in. Some of you have become like way too stuck in in the material, like what is physically right in front of you, that you forget that there's magic in this world. So make sure that you're, whether this is through like practices or, just opening yourself up and allowing that magic to come through. The resolution is, even though it's not totally clear, there is some leadership and strength and ability to kind of take charge of your life and the situation, and the energies at play here this week. So that's really cool. I enjoy that. That's a really cool energy. And, again, the overarching is like finding that balance and really the interconnectedness between us all and our planet, and making sure that we're celebrating all of that. So thank you so much for the charm portion of this reading. Thank you, Spirit. If this reading has resonated with you so far, please don't forget to hit that like button, comment down below. Let me know how this is resonating and showing up for you. If you'd like an individual reading, the links are in the description box below. This weekend I will be, if you're in the Maryland area, Maryland, DC area, I will be at the Fairy Festival at Rocky Point State Park. I'm doing readings all weekend. I'm super excited for that. And then a whole slew of other things that I'll be plugging as I go along. So some more in-person events coming up as well. Our card for the week is self-reliance. Don't be afraid to fly solo. Interesting. So maybe we're putting, what I'm hearing is we're putting too much effort into the relationship and making it work. Again, not saying this is a romantic relationship. It could be something totally different. But, finding that magic within yourself and like not being afraid to just stand strong for what you believe in and what you want, finding that magic, and know that like it's in you. You have that strength. Don't be afraid to fly solo and be self-reliant and create that vision for you. What a beautiful card. Thank you all again for joining me, joining us. I appreciate you so much for being a part of this collective reading. Thank you. Much love, much light. Namaste.